Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome to another episode of B is for Build, and that is the Aston Martin behind me. It's back in the shop and we're starting to work on it. I have no idea what we're going to do in this episode because I only have one day to work on the car. But I do know that we have new parts, so let's check those out. Stay tuned. Let's start off by looking at some body parts. I have not unwrapped these since they arrived to me. We have a hood, a driver's side fender, and a front bumper cover. So these were provided to me, these were sold to me by Richard over at Red Pants. Red Pants is a Aston Martin parts website. They also have guides, tutorials, and a YouTube channel. I'm gonna link all that in the description below. And he had a very unfortunate accident with his Aston Martin. And because of that accident, I was able to buy these parts secondhand off of them. So all of these parts should be damaged in some way, and I haven't checked them out to see how badly damaged they are. So let's go ahead and start unwrapping them and diagnose the damage from the wreck and also from shipping them here. Getting started with the hood, I can already tell that Richard gave me one hell of a deal on these parts, so thank you so much to Richard for that. So here's our old hood. We'll be using these grill inserts because they go right here. And you can see that's the damage that was to our old hood. So this is the hood off of Richard's car, and it has very, very minimal damage. So we can see a dent coming through here, and then you can see a dent in the front here. With some scuff marks over here. Overall, really nothing too bad, and I can't quite tell from right here, but it doesn't look like that dent over there really affects the body line of the hood. It doesn't look like it creased over here. So I think this may be something that we can just kind of body filler over to get the line back. There's a little bit of a high point right here that we might need to knock down, and but really, I think this is something that I can repair. The hood was the thing that had me the most worried because these will run you over $4,000 to buy brand new, and they're made out of aluminum. So there's not a lot of metal work that can be done with them. So really, really fortunate in this situation. Yeah, small dent here, larger dent here. Both of these things, again, you can knock them down and then body fill over. This is something that I feel like I can repair. That's within my wheelhouse. And it can be repaired. So we're off to a great start. I'm gonna go ahead and set that aside for storage, and we'll move on to the fender and the bumper. With the fender and the front bumper, it's the same story as before. They're damaged, but they're very lightly damaged, so we got super lucky that we were able to get these parts. So let me show you through the damage. This fender still has the clear bra on it, so the cracks of the fiberglass look a little strange, but it's cracked, it's not ripped. So let me show you what the tear looks like. This is my other one, and this is, when it tears, it kind of comes right through there. That's a little bit harder to repair because you have to realign the panel and get it to stay, you know, in the same spot and everything else like that. Overall, the fiberglass is pretty easy to repair. So these are cracks. We have a crack right here, a little chip right here, and then coming along over here to the side, we have, this is kind of an interesting crack that was because the whole panel must have flexed in like this, which made that crack out right there. With all of these pieces, unfortunately, some of the most damage actually came from shipping. The corner, bottom corner down there, that piece right there, and that piece right there are all in need of repair. It's not going to be too hard to repair, but they're all in need of repair because of the shipping. And I forgot to show you guys on the hood, these corners are completely bent in because of the shipping. So we went with Greyhound on this. It was just a mutual decision to go with what was cheap, which was Greyhound. And I would say in retrospect, if you're shipping polyurethane, Greyhound. If you're shipping these types of panels, fiberglass or aluminum, maybe not go with Greyhound. It was very, very inexpensive, but the panels are all damaged. So The bumper is just light surface scratches, so it's nothing major, nothing that we haven't worked with before. It's all polyurethane, no rips, no tears, no plugs missing or anything like that. It's just polyurethane, so you know it's going to need a nice cleanup, sand up, and like just super light level body filler to kind of like there's some deep scratches right there, but really good condition, and this side is pretty damn clean. So I'm starting to figure out some things that I'm going to need to order, like those reflectors and some other things. I'm kind of cataloging all of those. So this will be interesting. If you saw our design for our front splitter, it was based on a completely flat front lip of the bumper, which this isn't. So we're either going to have to figure out how to bend to adjust for this piece, or figure something out, or flatten out the bumper a little bit more. But it won't be anything too difficult to figure out. So overall, these pieces, these last body pieces that we needed to put this car back together on the front end, huge success. Next new part is headlights, and I know that was a weird transition. I just realized with how much money I spent on this headlight, I should probably take better care of the other one and clean it up. So I cleaned up, this is our original that came with the car, passenger side headlight, in pretty good condition. I don't think all this stuff is factory. I'm not really sure. If any other Aston Martin owners can leave a comment. It doesn't seem like it's like a very rubbery stuff. It almost feels like JB Weld, so I hope that wasn't like some sort of bodgy repair. I kind of originally figured it was to stick it to the body panel better, but then there's all this crap down here. British cars though, man, yeah, I don't know how they construct them these days anymore. So this is the one that we bought. This is a $900 headlight for the Aston Martin. It was pretty much the cheapest one I could find, so that was a bit of a bummer. It could use a bit of a polishing. There's some tiny rock chips here and there. Really old dead spider inside the lens there that I don't think you'll be able to see. Oh yeah, you can kind of see it's right there. But all in all, it's a headlight, so now we have two headlights, so I'm pretty stoked about that. Next things that we got that are new are the power steering pump and the AC compressor. Let me grab those. Things got pretty tricky when it came down to these two damaged items. So if you remember last time we were trying to get the car to start, and I found out that these two things had been busted up in the crash and that they needed to be replaced. So the AC compressor was seized up right here, and I looked around for replacement parts and used ones. The cheapest one I could find used was $1,000. I didn't even check to see how much a brand new one would cost. And I ordered this one from China on one of those like really random Chinese parts websites where you're just like not even sure if you're gonna get the thing or not. And it seems to be like an exact match, which is crazy because I've done a bunch of research on this piece. It's Aston Martin only. So it's made by Denso and they copied it from Denso, but it's really only applicable to this vehicle. It's not a shared piece. So it's normally probably a $1,500 piece. I know they're at least 1,000 used. I got this for 250 bucks, so that's a win. Now coming over here to the power steering, I realized that I didn't do as good of a job at getting the fix. So what I found is this power steering assembly, pump assembly from a Jaguar X-Type. Yeah, Jaguar X-Type, and it was really similar, and I thought I was going to be able to just take off these 4 bolts and clock this unit and move it over to the side and install it on the Aston because it looks a lot like the Aston, but there is one bracket over here and there's 2 on here. So it's time to get to work on this power steering pump. I might be able to just swap the pulley because the only thing that's wrong on this is the pulley is damaged. The axle of the pulley spins fine, the shaft of the pulley spins fine. So it may just be a pulley swap, I'm not quite sure. But let's get to work and figure out how to get one good power steering pump out of this. This power steering thing has turned into a much longer project than I expected. So here's what happened. I put this thing on here and then I was looking at it and I realized that this pulley has this inset part right here where it actually is going to drop the pulley down further on the pump. So this one wouldn't line up with the belt the correct way that this one would. Then I figured out once I laid this thing down, once I had this thing off and I laid it down on some flat surfaces, the ground and this wood and other places, that the pulley itself wasn't actually bent. It was just this kind of shielding metal on this side. So what I did was I really carefully went through and pulled it back out and straightened it out. Now it's not exactly 100% dead nut straight, but it's definitely good enough to go. I would just order a new one of these, but then to do that you have to order a new power steering pump, so that's quite a bummer. So I got it on there, I got it fixed, and I'm confident none of the grooves are bent at all, so it was just that little piece on the outside, and that's the worst of it right there, and I think that's going to be perfectly fine. So I'm going to go ahead and throw that back on the pump, and then we're going to be done with the pump. Okay, pump is fixed. Let's go ahead and jump under the car and see if we can get it installed. Just got the power steering pump reinstalled. You can see it is right here. It's that pulley right there. You can just barely see it from the top. I don't think, there's not enough room for me to show you it from down under. But I got the two bolts out of it. The rest of the bolts go into the AC compressor, which we're gonna have to plumb in later. And then this is its return line. I don't know, it's down there somewhere. And that goes back into the reservoir right there. But it's bolted in there, and it's on there, and I'm happy with that. That's a bit of a success. I was able to do it much faster than I actually was able to get it out of there the first time. Alright guys, that is where I'm going to end this episode. Sorry it's a little bit shorter, but I have to start packing up right now because tomorrow morning I leave for SEMA. If any of you guys happen to be at SEMA and you see me, come by, say hi, let's chat. That is part of the reason why I'm there. So it'd be nice to meet any of you guys if you see me around. If not, look forward to the video coming out from SEMA. I'll probably put out some of that stuff while we're on our way back home. We're road tripping to FJ there. It's going to be a good time. So I'm going to put out a couple videos. Please don't panic. We're not ditching the Aston Martin or anything like that. As soon as I get back home, progress will resume, but I've had the SEMA trip planned for quite a while, and you know, just sometimes you have to interrupt the build schedules. So that's about it guys. Thank you so much for watching. I'm really excited to get back on this thing, and everything's really fallen into place. I don't think we have any large missing parts that are going to stop us from being able to get this car back on the road daily drivable, which is super awesome. So thank you guys so much. If you like Beast for Build and you like what you see and you want to help out and support the channel, head over to beastforbuild.com, scroll down to the shop and picking up anything there. All goes directly towards supporting the builds. We have some new merch coming at you real soon, so stay tuned for that. And if you want to find us at more places, follow us on social media. All of our social media links are in the description below. Pick your favorite one and follow us on there. Thanks again for watching guys. I do appreciate it. Please remember to like and subscribe. Peace!